Hello, Crystal. How are you? Tomorrow's a big day. Whoop, whoop. A day for lovers. So, Beach Bum, Crystal, were you guys were you in Carl Steinbeck's podcast last night? Black. Hi, Peach. Nice new photo. Like it. You weren't. TS, were you in Carl Steinbeck's podcast last night? I think you were. You didn't see the whole thing. Well, if you were in the comments, there was a girl that I offended somehow. She said I offended an entire group of people. I'm going to try not to laugh, okay? Because she's serious. So I have to take it as you hate what? You weren't. Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you the story. So I rarely comment in Carl Steinbeck's. I rarely comment. However, I did comment because I was at the courthouse yesterday when he was talking about Donna's case management hearing, right? So I was there. So I thought I would speak. Like, I knew that June was booked because Alex Morris has another trial in June. So I knew prior to Donna's actual hearing starting that June was out because Alex Morris, who's Daniel Rashbaum's co-counsel, has a 4-defendant, I guess each one has an attorney, 4-defendant trial. It's going to take a few days. My hair is a mess. I'm sorry. It's very windy here. Like 4 strikes. It's going to be a few days. So they likely not in June because Alex Morris has a trial in June. So I thought, well, I'll just comment a little bit. And then people were like having to defend me. And this lady, her name is Lori O, Lori space O. So you can only assume she's a female named Lori and she doesn't want to give her last name. Fair play. So she's like, we need to be careful who we elevate. I didn't pay attention to it. And then other people started like saying, Patty has a podcast. Patty's great, which is very kind. And it was like, Patty. I'm like, first of all, this is another person's podcast. This is another man who's spending his time, which is quite valuable, talking about the Donna Adelson case. Why is this becoming about me? So I just sat back and watched because I didn't know what I had done wrong. And I thought, well, she said, then she goes on to say, I offended a group. She offended a group. I was like, a group? Well, I've talked about Jewish people. I could have offended someone who is Jewish. I've talked about African Americans during the search for Lori Paige. Like, who could I have offended? It's easy for me to offend someone, but who could I have offended? So last night, I was sitting back with my dog, Roscoe, watching Carl Steinbeck, and then it occurred to me who I offended. I gotta get my glasses on so I could see her comments. Well, let's see. So you didn't catch the whole thing. I didn't watch the whole thing either. I didn't either. But someone was there and they were like, Patty. And I'm like, well, there's another lady named Patty. I'm sorry that there's blue, but it's my glasses. There was another lady named Patty in the group, Patty N. And she came in our last live. Very nice lady. Seems to be very nice. So this Pat Lori, she's like very upset. And then AA Legal Focus, Judy was in there and they were like, and she was like, where are the mods? And because she's like, you shouldn't be bashing other podcasters. And I'm like, who are they bashing? I'm not even realizing at that point it's me. So later on, it was like an hour later, and he was late. He was like 9:30. He's answering all the questions. And then he signs off, and then I realized who I offended. And I realized who she was. So in the beginning, and the only reason I realized it is because I was on the local news yesterday with the search for Lori Paige. And who's on the screen right now is Lori Paige's mother. And Kendall Brandt with WTXL asked me what about my nickname for Daniel Rashbaum. And when I first started, because he's so small, he's really not average height. So he's below average height. Yesterday, he was walking into the courtroom. Was it yesterday? Yes, already. Yesterday, he's walking into the courtroom and he's like, hey, and he shakes my hand and he walks into the courtroom. And I thought, I wonder if he knows that I call him short. He does. He does, in fact, know I call him short. So I remember people who were there. I called him Little Rash in the beginning. So it was Little Rash. And this lady, I guess, was offended by it. So I had to go back in my videos to the comments. And she said that I really shouldn't disparage people who are not average height or above because her son was average height or above. And then I was thinking last night, well, why is your son watching this video? How old is he? But anyway, I digress. So I guess I was calling him Little Rash, and that was the group of people that I offended. So of all the people in the world, for her to like speak up for, it was short people. I was laughing I was like, this is, once I realized what it was, I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. But it's her son, and it has to be because I can't, there was no other person that came out and said, you really shouldn't say that. Well, I addressed it at the time, and I told her that my son James is not tall. I have a son who's like 6'5", and I have a son who's just a little bit shorter than I am. And that's what I said to the girl. And I think, oh my God. So she's saying that I'm offending a group of people. I'm offending short people. Oh, well, thank you, True Crime. 1.27 million in cash. They had no debt on the property. Cash. Anyway, I offended her. That's the answer to the question. I was kind of sad that she was trying to take over Carl Steinbeck's podcast chat and that people felt the need to respond to her on my behalf, like Murdered by Maestro, AA Legal Focus. All these people were like, but Patty. And I'm like, which Patty? Which group? I don't even know what's going on here. So now it is. I know it is. It's short people. I'm sorry to all the short people, but Daniel Rashbaum is not tall. And that's that. So I figured it out and I feel better. Because it was really bugging me. Like, if I affected, you'd think it would be a racial group or a religious group or someone with like some lobbying power and I think, why wouldn't she just say it? Short people. I know, but it was still funny. I mean, it's not funny because she was offended, but I did. You're 6'2"? Oh. Oh, yeah, nice. Okay. Hold on, I have to get a catering order. Anyway, it is a song, Short People and Private Eye. Oh, you do? Nice for you. Private Eye Posse. She was like, I think by herself for a while. And then John came on and then it kind of went nuts. So I'm going to apologize to Carl because I felt bad. But I was like, I don't know who could have I offended? I haven't been doing this for very long. Please trust me. Wait till it'll come. My hair. Oh, thank you very much. Nice. Yeah, my sweater, my purple, my red. Tomorrow I'll have a red sweater that says love. Don't you hate it when you're texting someone and then you stop like voice to text and then it keeps texting them everything you say? Okay. So I got to make sure that's off. It's not my fault. I know, but still, like, it's someone else's chat. You should really be more polite, right? I mean, she can come. It's still doing it. I think it's Siri. Although Scott would find this entertaining for sure. We'll talk about it on the radio tomorrow. I don't want to offend her son, but people are all very heights. And Rashbaum really puts himself out there. So it is what it is. Just because I'm saying I bought it at Sam's Club. I bought it at Sam's Club. So what I was saying, if you're coming on, which thank you for coming on, is if you were on Carl Steinbeck's chat last night, I figured out who I offended. And it was short people. I will just say Midtown. Short people. I offended short people by calling Rashbaum Little Rash. And the way hi, Murder. So back when I first started Murder, I was calling, because I don't really have a need to do it now. I just don't know why I didn't say it anymore. But it was brought to my attention yesterday afternoon, even before Carl Steinbeck's, a reporter thought it was cute. Like, she was like, "Aw." So I called Rashbaum Little Rash Murder. And I went back in my older videos because there's only 50, so it doesn't take long. And I offended short people. So that's who I had offended. And it was short-lived. Ha ha, beach bum. It was very short-lived. But I offended short people, and I guess she saw her way out of the group because I addressed it. I mean, she came to me and she said, "That's offensive." And I said, "Okay." Like, if I curb my words for her, then I have to curb my words for everyone else. And I'm not curbing my words for someone. Thank you. Because you're we. I mean, you're we, Lassie. Yeah. Right? Well, because I was talking about, Little Rash. Right? It could be Lil Rash. Lil Rash. Lil Rash. Very funny. But I felt relieved that it wasn't like an entire race. It wasn't a race. And it wasn't an entire cult of religion, although I love I love religion, actually. That was my minor, was religion. So I love religion, and I was like, I offend so many people on the daily that it's just was hard to get there. I know. It really would. You couldn't say it right now, right? You couldn't say it. So funny. I was like, Patty, how on earth? Short people don't have a lobby, so they don't really have any power. And I thought, well, why didn't she just say, If she's got the balls, why didn't she just say, Patty offended short people and we should be careful who we elevate? He is kind of, I mean, I was standing right next to him yesterday, right at the outside the courthouse, and he's not as tall as me. And I'm 5'9.5". I think I'm 5'9.5" now. I probably shrunk a bit. So it was very, I mean, it's funny, but I was like, she is really riled up. And if I had said something that was really bad, I was going to address it like I am now, but it really wasn't bad. It was Lil Rash. Lil Rash. And his last name's Rash. If he didn't have nicknames in school, where did he actually grow up? He had to have. My nickname, since I will go on about myself, my nickname was Red Beets because under this face is very red skin because of rosacea. So everyone in the back of my school bus, my little Catholic school, called me Red Beets, which didn't help the redness, by the way. Never really helped. We all got called names. We all did. It's just a fact, Lori. Lori O, which she's never going to come back on here. But if she does, it's a fact. And I'm sorry if your son feels slighted because I wasn't talking about your son. And if he's under 18, he shouldn't be on here anyway. Because this clearly states over 18. It's true. Anyway, I thought you might enjoy. I know it is cracking me up too, but people spend a lot of time worrying about syntax and what other people say and how they say it. And I think you want to be worried about intent. Intent, people. Oh, well. I'm Irish. Is that the I mean, that's all we had growing up. I'm one of 7. It was a free-for-all. We had to survive. My dad didn't say, don't comment on people's appearances. It was a free-for-all. Patty, you've lost weight. Where'd you lose it? It's funny. But you just grow a thicker skin than kids today, you know? 2.0 coming up. Yikes, I know. September. So who's coming to Tallahassee? It's football season in September. Let's see what the football. Hold on. Let me see what the Seminole School calendar is for 2024 football. Okay, September 28th. They will be at Dallas. October 5th. October 5th here in town. October 5th. I don't know if you can see it. Clemson is playing here in Tallahassee. So there will be no rooms. If you are going to come down here for a trial, it should start on the 30th. It will probably carry over into the next week. Be very careful about booking those Airbnbs right now because Clemson is coming to town. If you're coming for jury picking, you should be okay because Golden Bears, and I mean, it'll be still crowded because we have a very large following, but when they're playing at Dallas, you should be okay that weekend. He doesn't, but he is a very slight person. But I hear he's a great tennis player. I mean, he's not, you know, I played basketball in high school. In my first year of college, I played basketball and I was a walk-on. I was not very good. They just needed bodies. And in college, I was short for basketball. In high school, I was tall for basketball. It is what it is. You saw Roush at ML just a moment ago next to the new lawyer for Donna in Georgia, and I thought he's not that tall. He is not. And Alex Morris is very thin. So it makes him look very tall. And he has no hair. So it makes him look very tall. Drag ours because of them being near to the ground. I like it. I like that. Drag ours. Oh, it's funny. Height, weight, better to stay away from all that. It is, but you know, you you got to have fun. I've never dated a short man. I've dated men no, 6 foot. And that was it. 6 foot. My husband's 6'3". He is. He is. I mean, he doesn't care. He doesn't know anything different. He's still making more money than me. Okay. So he probably doesn't give a ding dong what this woman says about him. But I think this girl was very upset for her child, and fair play. I didn't mean anything by it. I was talking about rash bomb. I wasn't talking about the entire population. I used to sit on a phone book at our Mexican place to drink. Oh, well, I've met you in person and you are shorter than I am. That is true. I mean, it was a free for all growing up in my house. I mean, if you cried, you were weak. So you just got better at the comebacks because otherwise you would not survive. You had to survive. There was 4 girls and 3 boys, and the girls were just as mean as the boys growing up. Okay, so Patty, we gonna need some help. Yeah, football. If someone can find an Airbnb, the 10 of us can stay in together. I'll make the trip from Holland. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Do you think? Who said that? Who's Jewish here? What's the Jewish calendar? September. Oh, crap. September 2024. Okay, the calendar I picked up was in Hebrew. So. What Jewish holiday? Rosh Hashanah. No, it'll be fine. Rosh Hashanah is from the 15th to the 17th, Friday the 15th. It'll be fun. Rosh Hashanah is the evening of the 15th to Sunday. So it should be fine with jury selection. Oh, was he? He still has that up. He still has it up. Murder by Meister says that's weird. He noticed on Charlie's LinkedIn he was a tennis coach before. Well, if you were on here, the house that they had in Pompano had a tennis court in the back. So that makes sense. Tennis was important to them. I mean, if they're willing to pay you. Beach Bum, just message me. If no one has my cell phone number, it's on the YouTube page. You can always text me. Some of the FSU women's, oh yeah. I mean, there's a girl at my favorite pizza place is called Village Pizza on Thomasville Road, and she's from Bulgaria. Girl's tall. She played volleyball in college. She's very, very tall. Anyone know who will rent a room? I have references. Just let me know. You gotta think fast in your families. You know, you gotta survive when there's more than one of you. And I was the middle, and I was the only blonde girl. So I just got made fun of all the time. Going. So you gotta be really, really quick. When is Rosh Hashanah? I just looked up September. Yom Kippur is in October. Here it says Rosh Hashanah is October 2nd to the 24th. I gotta. Seriously, everything I pick is. I don't speak Hebrew. Amazon's gonna answer me. Yeah, I think there's a lot of holidays in September. Hold on. 2024, Rosh Hashanah begins October 2nd. So that is a Wednesday. And it concludes nightfall on the 4th. So I bet they don't start then. I bet it's the following week. I bet it's the following week. Can you imagine my husband? I'll send him to California so he can stay with his brother. I just looked them up. It's right here. Let me show you. It says Rosh Hashanah begins October 2 and ends October 4th. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't think about it. I'm not Jewish. I don't know. But it's something to plan on. I'm sure they'll bring it up in amongst themselves. And we'll just look for, well, the Markells might actually observe. I don't know. But if your attorney's Jewish and he's a practicing Jew, then they're probably going to delay it. That's my guess. Something to consider. We could all measure each other in the courthouse. No, she's not, but I believe Rashbaum is. I believe he is. So it will get affected. It will. So we can all plan accordingly. I just know one of the girls in the gallery with me was like, oh, end of September. She was very, very upset. But she has a personal thing, and I don't know if she'll be able to work or not. Yeah. I'm very sorry about that. So I wanted to share with you. So I've been talking to you about Lori Paige. And Lori Paige is a missing girl. And she went missing June 3rd. June 3rd last year, unfortunately. This is her. So she's a 12-year-old who went missing. Her father went to work, supposedly. Actually, not supposedly. He went to work. He was a corrections officer in Jefferson County. And Lori, when he got home the next morning, was not home. She was home by herself. So I researched a little bit about the father. He was living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath townhome on Continental Court in the northwest section of Tallahassee. The few civilians went out on Saturday with the help of Tallahassee Police Department and conducted our own little search, door to door, handing out flyers, talking to residents of the area. Well, today we learned a couple things. Tallahassee Police Department, with the help of Leon County Sheriff's Department, actually went out and did their own search in the lake nearby. So they found some photos, which I don't know if I can bring up. See, how can I do this without? So LCSO was conducting a dive search at the San Luis Park where we were, and Hey True Lifestyles, and they had divers in this lake, which is a beautiful park. It really is a little jewel in Leon County. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's acres of park, and it has 2 lakes in it, and they were out diving today. They started early, and it was a follower and member of Living Tallahassee that sent me these photos. And I was kind of taken aback. I was like, oh my God, did they get a tip that she could be in this lake? And the sad part about this is that, Rombo, is that she's been missing since June, and her parents aren't searching for her. Her parents are not searching for her. And for the last 3 days, I've been kind of going back and forth about pressuring the father. Should we not pressure the father? Nancy Grace did an episode on her podcast about the child missing, and she was very careful to not slam the parents. And okay, well, where are the parents? You know, I mean, we have 3 strangers, primarily a woman named Maggie or Margie Summers. I call her Maggie. She goes by Margie in public. Margie Summers, and then Pastor Rudy Ferguson. But there's no one searching for this child. She is a 12-year-old child. And no one is searching for this child. Nobody, other than strangers. And we really don't have any rights to know. So when I notified Pastor Ferguson today and said, I got word that there was a search, LC at Leon County Sheriff's Department is doing a search. And he goes, well, why didn't they tell me? I said, sir, we're not family. We're not eligible to be told. And he's like, well, I'm going to find out. So luckily, but not luckily, and luckily in a lot of ways, they found nothing. However, where is Lori Paige? Where is Lori Paige? She is a 12-year-old girl. Where is Lori Paige? This is her mother. And I'm going to start at the beginning. And this is her own personal page. This is not her real name. She uses a different name on Facebook. And I'm going to play it for you. I shared the sound, so you should be okay. And I'm going to start it. And I'll stop it when I think it's relevant. I've watched it twice now. Wait, she's waiting for people to come listen
to the media. What do you want me to say? If you really want to know what I have to say, it's all been recorded. It's all been recorded for everybody to see. I don't want to come and talk to you on your platform. I want to talk on my platform. I didn't ask Miss Nancy Grace to come speak on my platform. She didn't ask me to speak on hers. So we're gonna do we do the things that we feel that we want to do. So if I don't want to speak to the media, I don't have to do that. And if I were, let's just play the what if game. If I were, what do you want me to say? Because I don't have any information. I don't have anything to tell you. I don't know what happened. The situation, because it made it on certain occasions, it made it sound like I just left, like I just abandoned her at her dad's house. First of all, Lori explicitly has stated over and over and over that she wants to live with her dad. Ever since she started kind of hitting puberty, and this is a very normal psychological phenomenon that we see consistently in children, and let me speak on that. I speak in numbers and facts and statistics and things like that because I'm a scientist. I have a master's degree in science. I do science all day long. My title My title is student doctor. So there's a whole.
She is a med student at an HBCU school, medical college in Nashville, Tennessee. She is, I don't know what year she's in, but she went to USF. She's from here. She went to University of South Florida, graduated with honors. She got pregnant at 18, which she'll talk about, but she is at an HBCU medical college in Nashville, basically paying her own way, and she is not leaving. She is not leaving school to find her child. So I'll just turn it back on.
Way to present things. You can't go in and be presenting something with your emotions inside of it, right? Because if the doctor comes in the room and they are wailing and crying on the floor, it's going to be a bad day for everybody. It's not going to be good. So I have to hold my composure. So Lori had been stating that she wants to live with her dad. I run a very, very no nonsense household. Just as you see me now, the same way that I sit and I speak on this camera is the same way that I speak. So I'm the same person all the time. I'm the same person all the time. And some people like me and some people don't. And I personally don't care. I don't care. You liking me doesn't get me closer to my goal. It doesn't pay no bill. I don't care. And this is where I'm different than a lot of people. Y'all care about shit that don't matter. On the podcast that I just finished listening to, they're psychoanalyzing. Well, why would she? Well, well, what would make her? And Nancy Grace is like, I don't want to psychoanalyze her. I want to know where she's at. Like, let's. This is not about me. This is not about me. But if we're going to speak on events that precipitated the missing of Lori, we can speak on that. So she had explicitly stated that she had been wanting to live with her dad. I have had Lori since the day she was born. I had Lori very, very early, and I've been in school Lori's entire life. So that is what she sees. That is what she sees, and that is the behavior that she emulates. I am hard on myself. I'm a perfectionist. I try to teach her to give herself grace because that's something that I had to learn at my big age. But as I work on reframing my mindset, I give her the jewels that I come across, but I cannot give you what I don't have. So this is what she stated. She stated she wanted to live with her dad. This wasn't my favorite thing. Of course I want her with me. Of course I want her with me because if she's with me, then I know where she's at. I worked in childcare for 15 years. Okay, like I don't have no problem keeping her. It's not that I just dropped her off. He said, and not to mention, I should be able to leave my child with her father. I should be able to do that, right? Like just like I have legal rights and responsibilities, so does he.
I'm trying to figure out something because you can see in the back window, there's a sticker on the car. This is not her car. She explains later that her vehicle is in the shop. She is 30 years old. She is 30 years old.
He has legal rights and responsibilities. I am the custodial parent. What that means is that we have 50-50 custody, but I have the final say. And so whenever
you can't have the final say when you don't have the child. So there was something, I know they have 50-50 custody. Oh, yeah. I was making sure I wasn't muted. I know they have 50-50 custody. I know that she ended up dropping her off because she'll go into it about financial aid. So she dropped the child off. From what my source says, with very little clothing or anything with her, she just dropped her off. He was like, okay. Well, he works night shift as a correction officer. So you can't just switch your shift when you're a correction officer because you have to have seniority to move up shifts. I worked night shift for a very long time as a nurse, and I'm very aware of how that works. I verified with my son that that was accurate information. School is extremely important to this woman. Unlike anything I've ever, like, I went to school. I was pregnant and went to school, but I had to go to school and then I had to give birth and then I went back to school. Like, it just didn't make sense. I was pregnant with Alex, my middle, and I finished, but I don't understand. Anyway, so that's the backstory. She did drop her off with very little clothing.
They were bringing up the idea that that's where she wanted to stay. I didn't like it. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And Lori understands that she can come and say anything to me. You can say what you say is how you say it. And so respectfully, she very articulately explained the reasons that she wanted to be with her dad at this, because she presented to me, and her dad was perfectly happy to get her. He was perfect. Yes, I feel like I have missed out on a lot of her life. I want to get her. So for a couple of years, we did pertinent information. I don't live in Tallahassee. I live 500 miles away. So if she wants to be with him and he is willing to keep her, and she has presented to me logical reasons as to why this is what she wants to do, I'm going to hear her out. My child is 12 years old and she's very, very smart. She's been taught autonomy and being able to make decisions and understanding that things have consequences and all these different things like that. She's not perfect at it because she's 12. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect at it and I'm 30. So if this is a decision and this is something that she wants to do, I said, okay, well, let's try. You get her for the winter break. No issue. All right, you get her for the summer. No issue. And then when all of this happened, she was down there for winter break with her dad. Now at this point, this is normal, right? This is normal. We've established a pattern, right? Because thinking like a doctor is pattern recognition, and they're going to say that until I turn blue in the face. It's pattern recognition. So he's had her, he's kept her, I've picked her up. It's been fine. She had a great time with her dad. Myself and her father are totally different parents. We're totally different parents. He's the fun parent, which.
Thank you for telling me I was muted. So I was just saying people worry about their dogs and their cats more in this town. This is a very animal-friendly community than she worries about this child.
Good for him. My phone is blowing up, so I'm trying to keep up with mind you, I'm at work today. I'm at work. So in the winter break that she was down there, we were going into the new semester, and going into the semester, something went wrong with my financial aid at school. I'm a graduate student. I'm in graduate school. I have 2 degrees. I'm working on my 3rd one. Okay. So, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. The cost of attendance, it costs 6 figures to go to this school every single year. And so.
We have no idea. The police don't know if there was foul play. Originally said they didn't suspect foul play because she had run away prior. She had run away 4 weeks prior because she did not want to return to her mother's. And this is what I'm told. So it's 2 people removed, okay? So the other person that's helping Margie's the one sharing this information with me. And that she said she did not want to return to her mother.
So, and I can't work, right? Because I need to study 80 hours out the week. So when whatever went wrong with my financial aid, it called because I use that money. They give you the financial aid because you can't work. So you use the financial aid to pay for your room and board, etc. And when it went wrong, I did not get any money back in January at all. I didn't get any money back. And then they said I owed them money. Which again, we're talking in the 5 and 6 figures. This is not a little bit amount of money. So whenever this happened and I couldn't pay the rent and she was already in Florida with her dad, logically speaking, if I'm about to get put out because I cannot pay my rent because something got messed up that was outside of my control, yes, I can come get my child on the date that we agreed upon. I can come get her. But I'm working on stable housing. So while you have stable housing, can you just keep her? Can you keep her? You can't hear me. You can't hear me. Okay, you can. Okay, perfect. While you have stable housing, just keep her. Is that okay? Is that fine? If it's not fine, let me know. To which he said, well, I wish you would have asked me this earlier. That's a fair.
The school she's at is an HBCU school. Hold on, let me get the name. HBCU Med School. Meharry. The name of it is Meharry. Meharry.
Fair response. I would have asked him earlier if I would have known earlier, but I cannot tell you what I don't know. I didn't know this was going to happen. I have paid my rent on time for 10 years. And the one time that we hit January 3rd, you got a red letter on my door. So now I'm up here scrambling, trying to figure out how I'm going to get my money, how I'm going to get these classes paid for, how I'm going to eat. And so, no, I'm not going to, if my child is already okay, if she's already in Tallahassee with her dad and she's okay, then I'm going to leave her there. Why would I disrupt her peace? Why would I take away her stability to come be with me? I'm not that selfish. Like, that doesn't make sense. It's not logical. I've slept in my car before. I'm not going to do that if there's a resource or something available so that my child does not have to go through that. She's 12 years old. I made the decision to go to grad school. I can be responsible for myself. That's totally fine. I can be responsible. I was responsible for Lori for 11 years. And when y'all sit here and say, oh, she was such a good student, there was never a behavior problem. Like, Lori is an amazing kid. I know she didn't get that from out of thin air. I taught myself how to be the best parent I could possibly be. And it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But I didn't have a mom. The mom I did have was a horrible person. Absolutely horrible person. And as soon as I ran away from her house too. She's a terrible person. And the things that she does, she just hasn't got caught, but it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Her mother was appears to be a devoted grandmother in this woman's own Facebook. And at some point, there was a rift, and the grandmother just said, I'm done. And And from what I gather, she accused the grandmother, which she'll go on to say, of a variety of things. And the grandmother's like, I'm just not putting myself out there. So I believe that's how that occurred.
It's all going to come out. I can sit here and speak about the trafficking in Tallahassee because I know firsthand. Because I was a child in that situation. So I'm not just making up. I don't just make these things up. So, no, wasn't thrilled about her being with her dad. And then at one point, me and her dad were never together. Me and her father were never together. I was assaulted. Let's just say it what it is. I was 15, 16 at the time, and he was 22. And we still have, I mean, the age gap is not going to change. It's still the same. So, of course, this is not my favorite person. No, we're not like lovey-dovey. We're cordial enough to co-parent, but I don't tolerate disrespect. When I first found out she was missing, please let me tell you about the first time. Please let me tell you. I'm in medical school, and it's final exam week. I haven't slept in weeks, but this is what I signed up for. Like, the hardest unit, we have already finished it. Now we have another one coming up, and I'm tired because I had to push through that hardest unit. I had to go through the feelings of doing my absolute best and it not quite being enough. So, and I'm shaking this off because I'm resilient, right? Med school makes you resilient. You have to bounce back because you don't have time. So we had taken the test, and I'm sitting down, I'm getting ready to study for my next test, right? Because that's all I do. So I have set all my things up, ready to go. And I get a phone call. My phone is on do not disturb. I don't answer the phone. I don't take voicemails. I'm very focused on what I'm trying to.
Her daughter went missing last June 3rd, 2023. She is still missing. The mother and the father are not actively advocating for their child or searching for their child. I came to find out about this through a member of my Facebook group, which is local, called Living Tallahassee. Margie Summers was her paraprofessional. She helped her with reading, writing, that kind of thing in the classroom. She was a 6th grader at Griffin Middle School. No one who is familial with this child, biological or not, is searching for this child. Her teacher is searching for this child. Somehow Nancy Grace got a hold of it after we did and had Margie Summers, come on. Last week I had Margie and Pastor Ferguson come on to discuss. This woman does not state this, but on June 2nd, she shows up here in Tallahassee. She skips this part while she's ranting about her mother and the father and her schooling. Somehow she shows up June 2nd at their property on Continental. It upset Lori Paige very much. Paige is her last name. It upset her very much. The father had to call the City of Tallahassee Police Department. The City of Tallahassee had to remove this woman from the premises. He went on to work. His typical shift was a night shift, an 8-hour night shift at a correctional facility. Lori was 12 years old. He left her at home. There was a neighbor that would check in on her. Lori took her backpack, which was a tie-dye multicolor backpack. The police have not released what she had in it or what she had on her body. And she walked into the night, never to be seen from again. Because we had our podcast last week with Margie Summers and Pastor Rudy Ferguson, Nancy Grace then had hers on the next day. This is the result. The mother has come on to explain her side, and it is a lot
to do. So I see that the phone is ringing, and it's an 850 number, and I usually don't answer it, but something was like, answer the phone. Just answer the phone. If it's a scammer, you could just hang up. Just answer the phone. Answer the phone. Hi, this is so and so with TPD. We were first of all, we were calling to look. They were calling for my mom. They were calling my phone number to look for my mom. And I'm like, this is not her, but this is regarding Lori. I'm Lori's mother. Please tell me what is happening. Well, we don't know where she's at. Fuck you mean you don't know where she's at? What do you mean? Like, that's my first reaction. Like, my first reaction is not comprehending, right? Like, I'm not right, because I'm thinking about ketoacidosis and all the stuff, the renal function and all the stuff they're about to test me on, and then you come out the woodwork saying, where is Lori? We don't know where Lori is at. Lori should be with her daddy. She should be at her daddy's house. So I'm distraught. I'm distraught. Okay. I'm having this reaction. I get off the phone with him because he don't have no answers for me. So we don't need to be on the phone. And I'm just, I was horrified. I think the feeling that in that moment was horrified. My child is nowhere to be found, and I am 500 miles away. What am I supposed to do? This isn't in the parenting handbook. This isn't in the handbook. If your kid runs away or goes missing, that I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the steps are. And when I consistently reached out to TPD, the way that I have been treated by the Tallahassee Police Department is disgusting. It's disgusting. So I'm making phone calls, this is happening in my school. I'm in my school amongst all these professionals, and I'm just like, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor. Because I have anxiety, even before, like, from forever ago. I have anxiety. So I'm sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor because my worst nightmare is playing out in front of me, and I'm not sure. I'm waiting to wake up, right? Like, I'm waiting to wake up because this is not real life. Like, I've had enough nightmares to know maybe this is one of them. So I call her dad. When I call her dad, he's going off on me. And so just how you see,
she's missing the fact that he's going off on her because she showed up on June 2nd causing a scene. And from what I know about Lori Paige is she was a very quiet girl, very studious, very calm. She didn't want a lot of chaos. She didn't want chaos going on. She did not want chaos. So she went missing sometime over that night of June 3rd, and she was reported missing on June 3rd. She is still 12 years old. She turned 12 in April. So she would just turn 12 when she walked out into the night, never to be heard from again.
Just how you saw me gather my composure and bring it back down just then, that's what I do. This is how I am. I have to gather my composure because if I'm the most patient person in the world, but if I run out of patience, it's going to be bad. And that is a fact. So I'm trying to be patient with him. I'm trying to use my cognitive abilities to understand this is probably terrifying for him. He went to work, he came back, his daughter wasn't there. Is that a reason to go off on me? Absolutely not. But it's a scary situation. So not too much on him this time. All the other times I've dealt with his disrespect and I've shut it down. But on this occasion, this is an emergency. You know what I mean? Like, this is I know an emergency when I see one. So this is an emergency. So I'm not expecting decorum. So we get off the phone. Nothing happens. Nothing happens that night. I have to leave school and go home. I have to get somewhere where I can process myself. And in a professional setting is not the place to do it. So I get home and there's no update, there's no answer, there's no either the following morning, and please, if my timeline is slightly off, please forgive me, because this is all blurred together, because this has been incredibly traumatic. So either the next morning or shortly thereafter, it was a morning, because I woke up and it was a text and a call, and basically he was saying that they found her. And I said, oh, thank you, Lord. What else? They found her, and what? And what? I want a full rundown. The doctor's job is to take the history. When you investigate something, you look at the history, because you're looking for a pattern. So I have questions. When you go into a clinical setting and you sit down with the doctor, you're probably not counting, but that doctor's going to ask you 100 different questions. I know, believe me, I know. I have to have them memorized. So, because it's a workup, right? So I'm trying to work the situation up, because this doesn't make any sense. But you're saying that you found her. And then the story that they told, I said, well, where was she? The story that I was told by her father and by TPD was that she went to school the next day, which sounds like Lori. Lori loves school. Lori's always loved school. Lori has had perfect attendance forever. And on the very few occasions where she does not feel well and she says she don't want to go to school, I don't make her go, because that's not like her, right? She really must be feeling well. We're going to the doctor. At that point, if Lori doesn't want to go to school, we're going to the doctor. So she went to school, and the story that I'm told is that she didn't have on any shoes. Now, as someone who has taught, I have taught in public school, if a child comes in and doesn't have on any shoes, and I know was missing, I have questions. And so what they told me was that the dad picked her up from school and they went home. That's what they told me, but that doesn't make any sense. My little girl spent the night outside barefoot. We're going to the hospital. And then after that, we're going to a psychiatric facility, because something is wrong. Something is wrong. This is not normal behavior. So I'm going to try to get to the bottom of it. But I was brushed off. Well, she was found, like she said, that people keep telling me how I'm supposed to feel. So like, I should be fine that now she's found okay. I should be okay. But I'm not. What happened in these times? What happened to you? What happened? Who all was there? What happened? And I'm not going to move forward until I get that answer from Lori. Like, I'm not. And maybe she didn't want to. I did not see Lori, right? I did not see Lori. And the reason why I didn't have as much contact with Lori as I wanted to was because her dad would not let me talk to her. Her father would not let me talk to her. Lori does not have social media. She had a cell phone. In my house, she had a cell phone. It was taken. In his house, she had a cell phone. It was taken. The reason why Lori doesn't have social media is because when Lori was about 9 years old, so this is in my house, when Lori's about 9 years old, she comes up to me, Mom, what's our zip code? Huh? Right? Because why is my 9-year-old worried about this? Like, I know I've taught her the street address, but why do you need that information? Like, that's weird. So I'm like, well, why? And she says to me, well, my friend on Roblox was asking me and I didn't know. So I was basically coming to ask you. Your friend on Roblox was asking you for your zip code. Red flag, cut it, shut it all down. Shut it down. Shut it down. And so now I'm asking questions, how do you know this friend? I don't know them. We only speak on Roblox, but she's very nice. How do you know it's a girl? Because she said, well, how old is she? Well, she's 12. How do you know that? Well, I don't know. I don't know. So now we have to sit down and have a discussion about the very, very scary parts of the internet.
So the mother is moving around a lot in her storyline, and I apologize for that. But in May, before June, in May, school was still in session. Lori did leave for one night. Her father did report her missing. She did stay with a friend, and she did go to school the next day. So she was found. So it's not like now, which is part of the challenge when the missing child posters went out. She was missing, she was found, and then shortly after she was missing again. And so there was a lot of confusion. But the mother is jumping around.
Without going into too much detail, but basically logically walking her through that you have no way to know that this isn't some 40-year-old greasy man. You can't know that. So you can't give people, anybody that's asking you that information is not, and that's asking you, nobody would ask a 9-year-old what their zip code is. That's a question for your parent. So it's for that reason that Lori's internet access was extremely restricted. Because that wasn't the only instance. That was the first one and the biggest one. But she cannot cognitively understand that these people that you think are on the internet, you think they could be somebody, but they could be somebody else. You don't know. You have no way of knowing. Right. And so she hadn't thought about that because, again, she's 9. She's 9. We're not expecting, you know what I mean? And from then forward, because this was when COVID was real big and she was going to school from home. So she did have a computer, and I did monitor all of the computer usage. All of it, all the time. Because you're not, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's how I keep her safe. The internet is not safe. The internet is not a safe place for adults. And so I'm not, so then I had to study up on Roblox because to me, this is a child's game, right? This is a child's game. But now I'm seeing things where they're luring children from Roblox, and they're luring children from Pokemon Go and all these other different types of, these people on the internet are sick. These people on the internet are sick. And they're hunting for our children. So this is the reason why Lori did not have a phone. She had a computer that was school issued, and that restricts a whole lot of things. There was also instances on the computer where, like I said, I monitor. So I'm finding things that I don't need to be finding. So it's like, okay, I know that you need this computer for school, because now we're going back to school. Now we're back in school. This is a couple years later. We're back in school. And we're playing the game where, because Lori's 12 and I'm the mom, I'm the bad guy, right? So you have to try your mom, right? Like, you have to press up. And of course, she's not understanding that I'm just trying to keep her safe. I'm not trying to ruin her fun. I'm just trying to keep her safe.
Does anyone know which store, car rental place wears that gray shirt? She says she's at work. Who has this gray uniform? This plain gray uniform? Anybody? Does anyone know? I'm dying to figure out where she works. because she's at work and there's a sticker on her car window, and this is not her car. It's like she's hanging around in a car dealership.
So the things that she's, she's not making no, because I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. Apparently he does have one other kid that is about a year older than Lori. I've never met this. She ever heard the door open. She would have been on it. And we lived in the back of the apartment complex at the top. So it's a lot of obstacles. You're not going anywhere. And yeah, that may sound a certain way, but I didn't lose her. So
this woman is more worried about who lost her than where the child is.
Now he's getting mad at me because I'm asking, what measures are you going to put in place so that this doesn't happen again? I have rearranged the furniture to put very big, heavy things in front of my door. I will do whatever I have to do to contain Lori. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. He sent me a picture of her. This is on a different occasion. And her face is just swole. Now nothing has happened to her that I've ever seen that her face does this. So I'm like, oh my God, like what happened to, like, I'm mad, right? I'm mad because immediately somebody done punched my child in the face, right? Like, I'm hot. I said, Lori, what happened? She said, well, I did something I wasn't supposed to do on my computer, got caught, and basically she got scared and she went to run out the door. When she went to run out the door, she tripped. And when she tripped, she hit her face on the door frame. This makes sense to me. This sounds like Lori, right? This sounds like Lori. She also had congruent scrapes on her knees and elbows. So this is not, you know what I mean, unreasonable. At the same time, mind you, at the same time, as I'm in school, as I am in medical school, I get into an awful car accident. That lady almost freaking killed me. And I had to have surgery. In the middle of the semester, I had surgery. And still did what I needed to do. So that's the type of person I am. If there's an obstacle, I'm going to overcome it. And so because I had recently had surgery on my jaw, it was very swollen. And her face was very swollen. So as I'm asking what happened to her, she's asking what happened to me. So now I gotta explain, I was in a car accident, da 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 da. Whole time, even in that, before we even got to the conclusion of the surgery, I was misdiagnosed with cancer. So I'm also thinking like I'm fucking dying. Like, great, I'm dying. Like, so she runs away. She comes back. I'm not getting my questions answered. Okay. She's okay. That's what I tell myself. I tell myself she's okay. She's okay. And if she's okay, I'm okay. Because I'm sure he doesn't agree with my parenting. But again, what I do in my house is my business. So what I got to apply that same. Lori does not like to get in trouble. Lori is a very, very good kid, and she does not like to get in trouble. She doesn't like to be yelled at. She doesn't like to feel bad, like she did something. Like, she doesn't, like, Lori has this preoccupation of thinking or like that she feels like she's a bad kid, and she's not a bad kid. And everybody that knows Lori knows she's not a bad kid. So if she does something bad, she hasn't gotten to the point where she can understand that I can separate the behavior from the character, right? So she did a bad behavior and she got caught, and that's a normal response for her, right? You have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. She's flight. That's her, like, That's what she's gonna do. Like if she don't want the confrontation, she's gonna run away and hide and make herself small. So I think that's exactly what happened. She knew that she had did something wrong, and she knew she was caught, and so because that's a pattern. Lori's done that before.
Miss Wee has to wee, so she needs a bathroom break. So he went to work on June, the night of June 2nd. She shows up on June 2nd, throws a fit with the daughter. There's a big hullabaloo. TPD's called out. Everything calms down when she leaves. He goes to work, and then he comes home. She's gone. No one believes for a second that this woman took her daughter back to Nashville. No one believes it. She only wants to be in med school. So school is extremely important to her. And having been in nursing school, as a couple of you have been in, it is very hard. The staff are not easy on you. To be a nurse or to be in the medical field is not a dreamboat. It is very challenging. And I can't imagine myself I can't imagine having want to be a doctor to begin with, because it's basically can be a crap job. But regardless, she wanted to be a child since a young age, and nothing's stopping her from going to med school. Let's just put it that way. I just can't. Her daughter's missing. And the only people searching for her is the Tallahassee Police Department, the Leon County Sheriff's Department, and a group of strangers are missing for her, are looking for her. That's it.
So we're moving back to when they found her, and I'm asking questions. He's mad at me. He's like, I can't talk on the phone. This detective's here. It's like I can't talk on the phone. Cool, fine. I really can't talk on the phone either. I got a big test coming up because I'm ready to get in the car. The day that this happened, I done already called my dean. I'm on the phone with my dean. Like, I gotta go. But they found her. So it's like, okay, because making up the exam is more work than actually just taking the exam. So they found her. This is Tuesday, Wednesday. The exam's on Friday. All right, it's okay. I don't need a dean's excuse to skip the exam. I'll be there. I'll take it. Not my best judgment, because I was still very rattled. It was still a lot of things rolling around in my head that made it difficult to focus on the task at hand. So hindsight being 2020, no, I probably shouldn't have taken the test. And when I took the test, I failed the test, obviously. And so that's devastating, right? Because longer than I've been a mom, I've been pursuing medicine. This is my dream. This is my baby. This is my life's work. This is my whole life's work. This is my whole life's work. 25 years. I've worked 25 years to sit in this chair. And so now all these things are going on, and it's like, and failing this test jeopardizes my ability to be able to sit in this chair. Now, these are extenuating circumstances, right? These are extenuating circumstances. So that test was the final exam. Now we're free to go. Just as soon as I finish the exam, now I'm not getting no answers from her dad. I'm not getting no answers from TPD. It's like pulling teeth to get answers. So now my maternal instinct has kicked in, because I need to lay my eyes on my child. That's the only thing that's going to bring me peace, is to lay my eyes on my child. I just need to lay my eyes on her, because if I look at her, I can tell you I'll know if she's okay, if she, like, I can read Lori. Lori has told me on multiple occasions, you know me better than I know myself. And I say, duh, I'm your mother. I'm your mother. And when she tries to sneak and do something, she'd be like, how did you know I was good? I'm your mother. My thoughts, not your thoughts. So I go to drive 500 miles. And I know the interaction that me and her father have been having. So I went to TPD and I said, hey, look, I'm the mother of this is my child. This baby on this poster that y'all found, this is my child. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to do a welfare check. I just want to lay my eyes on her. Can you please accompany me? Can you come with me? So that because I don't want any problems. I don't want any problems. We can have a mediator, we can have a third party, we can have a judge, we can have whoever you want. But I need to lay my eyes on my child. I'm not gonna take her. I'm not gonna take her back with me. She don't want to go with me. Why would I? I don't have Lori. And the amount of people that have said that they thought I have Lori is crazy. I don't have Lori. If I had Lori, nobody chooses to be in this much emotional turmoil. People don't choose this. Like, I don't have Lori. You think I would have just wasted $100,000 to get a child that I have legal custody over? If I had her, she wouldn't be missing. So I go, and the TPD, 2 officers from TPD, one of them, and I've told this story before. If you go back and look on the videos, it's all there. But the lady from TPD, yes, she told me. Lori told me. Lori said, Mom, I don't want to go with you. Like, I said, Lori, I'm not here to pick you up. She said, Mom, I don't want to go with you. I said, Lori, I'm not here to pick you up. But TPD came out. They reported back to me saying that she was okay. That's not the same as me laying my eyes on her. And I had no intention of taking her. What do I look like moving? First of all, I'm the custodial parent. She's only down here because I signed off on it. She's only enrolled in school because I provided the records. I don't have to take her. I don't want to take her. If she wants to be with her dad, because think about the alternative. If I go down there and I snatch her from her daddy's house and bring her back up here with me, she's going to run out of my house. This is where she said she wanted to be. So if this is where she says she wants to be, why would she leave? Duh. So what I told her, and I let her know, but whenever the cops were there, they left. They left before I had contact. They left. And I said, wait, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? And basically it was, well, we have other things to attend to. Keep that in mind. So, she explains, I can't make him open the door or anything like that, but you are welcome to, go try. Hold on. Yeah, they say you're welcome to go try. Soon as I knock on the door, calmly, I'm not about to come in on 10. I rarely get to 10. I'm not coming in on 10. Knock on the door. Soon as he opens the door, it's bitch, why the fuck you sending cops to my house? Whoa. Because I called you. I called you a lot of times. You blocked me. So I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to check on Lori. I was calling you to check on Lori. I was FaceTiming you to check on Lori. I was asking questions to check on Lori. You're not answering my question, so I can't check on Lori. So how am I supposed to know that Lori's okay? But because TPD said so? Y'all not good at y'all job. We're going to come back to that. So I'm not going to sit here, and I don't want to argue with him in front of her. So I'm keeping it. I would just like to speak to Lori. Exactly like that. I just would like to speak to Lori. I just want to speak to Lori. And Lori comes, me and Lori have the conversation. Her dad is present. We had the conversation, she expressed that she had some very big feelings. She expressed her frustrations with me. She aired out her grievances. She did. And one of her big complaints was that I didn't call her. I don't call her. And so now I'm blue. I'm like, are you telling her? Are you telling her that I'm not calling her? Because I can't get to her no other way. So yes, I did peacefully go and check on my child. I looked for TPD to help with that, and they didn't. They left. And so because he was upset with me, he called the cops on me for showing up at his house. I knocked on the door. I did not kick his door in. I was not confrontational with him. We don't have to talk. Like I said, I was assaulted. I don't have a lot to say to you. So, but now she feels like I don't care about her and that I abandoned her because you won't answer the phone? Because you're mad at me? That's goofy. That's goofy. So yeah, so she expressed her big feelings to me, and that was that. We ended, we hugged, and when I hugged her, I just kind of really took her in. And that extremely negative experience, well, not the hug, but the rest of the negative experience was the last time that I saw my child. She didn't run away that night. It was like a week or two later. But after Lori had went back inside, her daddy closed the door. And now that my child's not present, now you want to argue. Well, keep it cute, because we didn't have to do this. The only reason that I don't take her back with me is because this is where she wants to be. It's not because of you. It's because this is what Lori wants. And I felt that Lori was old enough to, at 12, you can decide what parent you want to be with. And especially going through puberty, kids want to be with their dad. Girls want to be with their dad. Boys want to be with their mom. Whatever. I didn't have a dad growing up, so I can't relate to this, but I didn't want to take that away from her because she has a dad that's willing to keep her. So, and they have good rapport. She loves her dad. They have good rapport. They chill. They get with each other and they just have themselves a good old time. So she wouldn't just leave her dad's house. Like, she wouldn't just up and leave. She wanted to be with her dad. She insisted that she wanted to be with her dad. She said, Mom, I do not want to come back with you. I said, that's fine. I'm not coming to get you. I'm coming to lay my eyes. So once he closes the door, she's inside. He starts back up with the BS. And now I'm tired of being disrespected. Because this is not the first time. I don't understand, and I've explained this to him. I don't understand why you feel as though I have earned your disrespect. Because I haven't. I have never done anything to you to warrant the level of disrespect that you give to me. And I'm tired of it. My child's not present for this conversation. He takes it upon himself to call 911 on me, saying that basically I'm making a ruckus outside of his house. That's okay. I don't think she ran away. So yeah, so he calls the police on me, making it seem like I'm making a big ruckus. And so to which I tell him, I don't want to have a problem. He was like, no, don't go anywhere. I said, I'm not going to go anywhere, but I'm about to go sit in the car because I'm not about to wait on your property because Florida's a stand your ground law. You're not. I'm about to go wait over here, and I will wait for the police to come because I did not. Because I responded. Because I responded to you because I didn't tolerate your disrespect. Is that a crime? So yeah, you could call 911 if that's what you want to do, but I'm not, because see, if I leave, then it's like, oh, well, now it looks like, no, we can talk about exactly what happened. This is why I recorded it, because I knew it was going to be some bullshit. This is why I recorded it. The same two officers that wasn't supposed to leave came back. And they were like, how it doesn't, we have to go through this, but it doesn't make sense that you came up here to be rowdy. Like, you explained everything to us. It made sense. Da 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 da. Like, this doesn't seem like, this seems incongruent, but just because he called, now I have to read you your Miranda rights. Read me my Miranda rights. Read me my Miranda rights. Okay. You had a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You had a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you. Do you understand these rights as they have been read to you? I do, and I don't want to talk to you. Because you just said everything I say to you, you're going to use against me. So it doesn't matter what I say, you're going to use it against me. And so now she's trying to, oh, well, what school do you go to? I'm not talking to you. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm exercising my Miranda right. You just told me. Like, am I fixing to get arrested? Like, am I fixing to get arrested? Did I drive 500 miles to check on my child to get the police called on me to get me arrested? When all he had to do was pick up the phone? You're kidding. You're kidding. So now it's like, okay, all right, I don't have nothing to say. So they do whatever investigation they're going to do. And he knew it was being recorded. And I guess he told them that. And she came and she asked me, well, can I have the video? No, the fuck you cannot, because you just said it can and it will be used against me. And I know I didn't do anything wrong.
What video is she talking about? Did I miss something? What video?
When he asked me to leave, I left. I cannot commit no crimes. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in professional school. This is my whole life's work. And you think that I'm just gonna throw it away because to get in an argument with you? That, come on now, let's be kind of serious. Let's be kind of for real. And I knew that she wanted to be there and that he wanted to keep her because, and one day prior to this incident, one day he got frustrated with me and he said, come pick her up. I said, say no more. And when they realized that I was coming to pick her up, they begged me. They said, no, like, please, I'm going to keep her. Like, it's not that I want you to get her. I said, no. I'm going to come pick her up because you're not going to use this car every time you get mad at me because I'm in professional school and I don't have time to drive 500 miles just because you get mad with me. If you're going to keep her, keep her. If you're not, give her back. This is not hard. So when you say come get her, I'm going to come get her. When they call me at the school and they say come pick her up, I go pick her up. When they call me at the summer camp and they say come get her, I come get her because one thing about me, I will go get her. I will get my child. I don't have no problem getting my child. And I had this child her whole life. So if you do not want her, far be it from me to leave her where she is unwanted, because she is very wanted in certain circles. Very wanted, very loved, very appreciated. And so as it turns out, he really didn't feel like that. He was saying that because he was upset. So I'm like, okay. And at that point, I did not go get her. Hindsight being 2020, I should have went and got her because if I had her, she wouldn't be missing. But that's what she said she wanted to do. He's willing to keep. I'm really trying to rationalize my way through this because I'm having an emotion, and emotions they're not going to get you anywhere. You have to logically think through things. So that I'm really trying to weigh my pros and cons. I prayed about it, all this other type of stuff. Did not go get her. I did not go get her. She didn't want to come with me. He didn't want her to come with me. So I didn't go get her. The following Saturday, Not the following Saturday from when he said that. The following Saturday from when she was found. I'm in Dollar General getting my 5 off 25. As per usual, I'm out of school. You know, I got time and slept in. I know I failed this test, but that's a problem for another day. I'm in Dollar General getting my 5 off 25. I get a phone call from an 850 number. I said, nah, I don't want that. I'm not answering the phone. Something was like, answer the phone. Something was like, answer the phone, answer the phone. Answer the phone. Hi, this is so-and-so with TPD. We were wondering if you knew where Lori Paige was. And in that moment, the decorum, the professionalism, everything left. I said, what the fuck do you mean? Like, because I'm going to blow my top in here. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you saying to me? What do you mean? Do I know where she's at? I know where she's supposed to be. I know where I left her. I don't know where she's at. Why don't you know where she's at? Like QTNA questions that need answered. Why do you not know where she's at? She's 12. She shouldn't be but one or two places. So no, I do not know where she's at. If I knew where she was at, she wouldn't be lost. And so, and that, because at this point, and I don't know, I already had it with TPD. TPD has already pissed me off twice. Because I've been asking them, and I've been trying to communicate with them. And the first detective that was on the case, baby, the best thing TPD could have did was remove her from that case. She and I did not have a good rapport, and this is not going to be productive, because TPD continues to treat me like a criminal, like a suspect. Y'all read me my rights. And now 8 months later, after I done said everything that I said, now that people got to start being held accountable, now it's, oh, well, we searched this. You're sending TPD officers all the way down to Tampa and all down I-10 and all this and that. It's been 8 months. Where was this before? Where was this energy before? Why you wasn't kicking nobody doors in when she went missing? It's been 8 months. 97% of children that go missing for more than 30 days are never found. That means that out of 100 children, 3 of them that go missing for 30 days or more are found. For 30 days. We're talking about 8 months. Mathematically speaking, this is not good. This is not good. You're doing all this effort and it's too late. It's too late. I mean, I'm glad y'all are doing it. Look for her, but this is the energy that I wanted when it happened. Y'all gave Carly Russell more energy over a fake white baby that doesn't even exist. And now you following us around like freaking criminals. I don't have her. If I had her, she wouldn't be lost. You think I choose this emotional distress? You think I choose to waste $100,000? You think this is what I want? And then y'all gonna turn around, and then you turn around and treat me as though I did something wrong? Cut it out. Which is why I'm not talking to none of y'all. I don't have nothing to say to nobody, because y'all don't listen to me. This is not a cooperation, because what I'm asking you for, you are not providing me. So what you're asking me for, I am not providing you. And the fact that you feel like entitled to my cooperation is wild. You want me to cooperate now, but y'all wasn't cooperating with me when I was in the police department on 7th Ave jumping up and down. Now you want me to cooperate? Yeah, because now you got to be accountable. Now you have to be accountable. I don't have to prove no case to you. I don't have to prove to you that I don't have her. I wish I had her.
It's just
But I
unbelievable.
don't have to prove. You can follow me around all day, every day. You can read the phone records. You can do whatever you need to do. But y'all should have been did this. And I don't know. I don't know what the delay was, but whatever it was, it has potentially cost me the life of my only child. When you say you don't think she ran away, elaborate on that, please. Okay. The reason why I don't feel like she ran away is because in the prior times where Lori has quote unquote run away, she is trying to avoid direct confrontation, like with the computer. She got caught doing something that she wasn't supposed to do. Boom, she wanted to leave. Right? And when she gets in trouble, that's her flight response. If what y'all are telling me, and I don't even have the whole story, which is what I keep asking TPD for, and they won't give me the story, which and they said on Nancy Grace that I was very methodical. Yeah, because I have to go through, I have to piece this together. Aren't you a detective? Detect something, investigate something. So I don't feel that if the story that you're telling me is that he went to work and she left while he was at work, that is incongruent with the pattern, because the pattern is she gets caught doing something she's not supposed to do. She engages her flight response.
I've watched this, I think 3 full times. And every time I get so upset because she talks to her child or about her child as if she's a lab rat. She talks about her fight, flight, free, fun, as if she's a lab rat. I was 30 and had 3 children. I worked night shift as a nurse. I was married to someone I didn't like. And I never spoke about my children this way. And I don't think any of you have either. Something is wrong here in Denmark, and I don't know what. But here's what I do know, that until we share this and create great pressure for these 2 parents who don't like each other, we get it. No one likes each other, we get it. Don't care. But until there are pressure on the father, the mother, the grandparents, no one will get anything done. We need great pressure on these parents. I'm not labeling the parents. I'm labeling her because she's pissing me off. But the father, I know he's quiet. I know he's introverted. I know that. But him, we can't do it. We are strangers. Have got to advocate for their child. We have watched how many, there's 137 people in this room right now. We're talking millions of hours of true crime have been watched between these 137 people who are looking at me like, why is this woman putting this woman on her live? Because we need help and we need pressure, not on law enforcement. They're doing everything they can. They've done grid searches. They were in a lake today. They've gone. I had an anonymous call to myself on Friday. So they went to that town and started handing out flyers in that town. We need pressure from the 2 parents to come out and advocate for their child. I thought Nancy Grace did a fabulous job because she didn't, of course, she's been sued for it, okay? Back in 07 and 08, she was sued for it because she went on the aggressive to a young mother whose child was missing, and the woman went into, this was Leesburg, Florida, and it was a Trenton case, and she went into the closet and unalived herself. So I know Nancy doesn't want that to happen. And I know she doesn't want a lawsuit to happen. So I know why she's cautious about how she's treating these parents. But the father is the one who is here. So she's not here. She ain't coming back. She's in school. I get it. The father is here. And the father is the one who needs to have pressure put on him to go out and lead a goddamn search for his, yes, Melinda Duckett, thank you. Search for this child. Because I did my nosy Patty thing today and he moved. He moved out of that apartment that they were living in. Now, he may have moved because the lease ended and the rent was going up. He may have moved because the place was being sold. Oh, he may have moved for a lot of reasons, but he moved. Now, I'm sure law enforcement knows where he is, but does the child know where he is? I mean, can you imagine? He moved. There may be reasons that we don't know why he moved, but he moved. He moved. He moved out of this apartment. He may not have been able to go back without his daughter there. I get that. But he moved. Sometimes you got to step outside of your damn self and think of your kid. And these people are not doing it. They're not looking outside of their self. They're not looking outside of their self. They're not looking, she's not looking outside of herself.
He was at work and she was there by herself. She wasn't in no trouble, right? Like she couldn't have actively been in trouble at that moment because this wasn't happening unless the story that you're telling me is not true. And he has lied to me on multiple occasions about the whereabouts of my child. So I don't know if she was actually at his house. Because why do you have to lie about the whereabouts of my child? Because you have her with a dangerous adult that I specifically said she does not need to be around. And so what I think is that dangerous adult, Brooklyn Paige, manipulated and lured my daughter.
Brooklyn Paige is her mother. Brooklyn Paige is Lori Paige's grandmother. Brooklyn, I don't know her relationship with her daughter, but her daughter clearly does not like her mother. And she calls her by her full name instead of her mother.
And that's my opinion. Because it came out after I explicitly said they are not to have any contact. It came out accidentally that she was spending the weekend over there and she was spending the nights over there and all this extended periods of time. Brooklyn is my biological mother. And so the agreement was from the beginning, you can keep her. She is not to be around Brooklyn. This is not something I just made up. This was court ordered some years ago. Like I'm not. So now you're lying to me because you know that you're violating the court order. But we're all going to be held accountable. And I strongly believe, I told TPD, this is who I think, this is what makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense that she would just leave. I have unfortunately witnessed hundreds of things. I am waiting for this case. I'm waiting for the case against Brooklyn. Please let me talk. Let me tell you. Which is why I said she shouldn't be around her. She's not a safe adult. I shouldn't, and I did go into some of the details with him. We just want to talk. I did go into some of the details with him, but I shouldn't have to explain to you why I don't feel. If I'm telling you that I don't feel as though my own mother is safe to be around my child, and never mind what I feel, if a judge in Hillsborough County said that they're not supposed to have, because there's a whole history there. And see, that's not what we're understanding. That's what we're not understanding, because there's a whole history there. There's a whole history there of Brooklyn manipulating the police and lying and getting people sent to jail and calling around and doing all this and that, trying to manipulate the situation. So do I think that she would cause harm to my child? 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I explained, and I didn't go into the detail with Lori, but when I explained to her 3 years ago now, hey, we're not in communication with Gigi anymore. We don't do that anymore. Unfortunately, she cried. She was very sad. And I don't know how to explain to her that I'm only doing this for her safety. Now, when you turn 18 and you want to go hang out with her, that's your business. You're grown. But I cannot knowingly let you have contact with this unsafe adult. But apparently her daddy can. And I don't say these things to just say them. I don't want my biological mother to be the big bad guy, right? I want to have a safe space. I want a mom too. But like I said earlier, I didn't have one. So I had to figure it out by myself. And the reason why I didn't have, I had one, like she was there, like she was present, but she was abusive. Let me tell you a story. Before my brain unlocked to the horrors of my childhood, I was completely oblivious to them. And I was having 500 miles away from Tallahassee. I was having a behavior problem with my child. I had did everything I knew how to do, everything I could possibly think of. And now at this point, I'm taking off work. Like my boss is getting like, what the fuck? You can't control your kid? And I'm like, you can't control another person. That's not how this works. That's not how I cannot control Lori. If I could control Lori, I would make her appear right here. God himself gave Lori free will. Who am I? Who am I to try to impose? Like, what are you talking about? I cannot control Lori. I can influence the environment. I can try to correct behaviors. Anyway, this is a tangent. So I called my biological mother. This is before I remembered all these bad things. So I call her and I'm like, hey, I don't know what else to do. Can you keep her for just like a week or two? Because she's working from home. This is COVID. Can you just keep her for like a week or two? Let me regather myself to come up with new strategies because my cup is empty. At that point, my cup was empty. Because at that point, I had sought all the psychological resources that I could possibly come up with. Lori had a team of professionals. And they worked with me, and we came up with a treatment plan together. So when I take Lori to my biological mother, I give her the rundown. Listen, I'm a medical professional. I know how to run it down. I know how to tell you, like, I know how to get this crystal clear. So I'm explaining to her the medication. The medication that she was on, it lowered her fight or flight response, which makes so much sense because when she gets anxious, she uses her flight. So if it lowers the norepinephrine in a fight or flight response, then it should, you know what I'm saying? This should work. And it was working. It was working because we have been doing it for months. It was coming down. Like, her behavior wasn't perfect, but it was coming down, right? It was less, and she, she's a teenager, so she's going through puberty. She's got hormones, but it was coming back down. So take my child down there, take the medicine, leave instructions, etc., etc. This lady calls me at 2:00 in the morning. After about a week, 4 days to a week, whatever. She calls me at 2:00 in the morning. Now, this is not normal. If you have my child and you call me, I'm going to answer the phone. If you have my child and you call me, I'm going to answer the phone. So I answer the phone. I'm like, okay, what's, like, something's wrong. So in a very, because I don't believe nothing Brooklyn tells me, but in a very convoluted way, Lori attempted to, no, she didn't even attempt. She ran outside of Brooklyn's house, like got at the door, ran outside. And of course, Brooklyn chased her, right? And so they end up having a, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to describe it in like a abusive way, but Lori's a big child, right? And so when she's been ran out of my house before, you know, sometimes you gotta, you know what I mean? Restrain them. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep you safe. I guess it turned into a whole scene. And she was just calling me to let me know. Now, that medical professional that runs in the background, I'm taking a history, because how do we get to this point? Right? Like, we just keep negating the fact of how we got there. She didn't just wake up and run out the door. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm asking questions. And one of my questions was, well, when was the last time she had her medicine? Did she miss a dose or anything like that? And her response is, oh, I haven't been giving it to her. So now, again, I'm trying to pull it back down. Because one thing about me, I'll take us to 10. I'll take us to 20. I'll take us there and back, baby. So I'm like, okay, when did you stop giving it to her? About 3-4 days. Why? I just don't feel like she needs to be on medication. What the fuck are you talking about, man? What the fuck are you talking about? We don't want to know how you feel about, between a team of doctors and her mother, who is a medical professional. We came together and we made a plan together as a group. And you just took it upon yourself to just override the plan? I wouldn't have sent her if I would have thought that you was going to stop giving her the medicine. That's stupid. Like, why would you? You can't stop. So this was likely an outburst. But I
try to be quiet in my typing and I'm muted. Sorry. Anyway, Lori is missing. Lori Paige is missing. She's been missing since June 3rd, 2023 from Leon County. And she took her, we don't know what she took with her. We know she took a multicolored backpack, which was tie-dyed. I am recapping. Thank you all. She has been missing for 8 months now. She turned 12 in April and she's still 12 years old. We do not know where she is. Can you hear me? I was not given an outline. She is missing. She is 12. She did not have a phone with her. The phone that was in the house, she left in the house. The school issued a Chromebook throughout the year. They started doing that in COVID, and her Chromebook was returned. She is not with her father. I figured out today, because I'm nosy, that her father moved out of the apartment he was renting. I don't know why he moved, but I know he moved. I don't know where he lives. It's not my business to know that. I'm sure law enforcement knows that he's moved. However, you just think about it from a 12-year-old perspective, right? That was her home. That was where she felt safe. And now her home is gone and he is gone. And Who knows where Lori is? Tallahassee Police Department has been searching for her. They've been doing grid searches. I with two other people, her former educator, because she wouldn't be in sixth grade anyway. Margie Summers and Pastor Rudy Ferguson went out on Saturday with friends of ours, people who follow me, as well as personal friends of mine. Tallahassee Police Department escorted us around so that we weren't alone. You know, we paired off and each group had an officer with us. We hit 650 doors and stores. So we handed out 650 flyers. She turned her own Chromebook in, by the way, Beach Life. Her home life was not good, obviously. Her father worked night shift. If you don't know, here in Florida, corrections officers don't make a lot of money. So his rent was cheap where he was. It could have been that the landlord was increasing the rent. I don't know. The family has never reached out for help from the community. Margie Summers on her own has been driving this information. Somehow, Nancy Grace was trolling Tallahassee Facebook, came across our Living Tallahassee, contacted Margie, and Margie was on last week with Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace, obviously, I mean, the whole team got very upset when they realized that no family was advocating and conducting a search. There's 140 people in the group now. So 140 people. I know all I watch is true crime. I'm sure all of you watch true crime by the hours and dozens of hours a week. So there's millions of hours of true crime. And so we know when a parent is advocating for their child and when they're not. And I ain't gonna lie, Chris Watts was a complete freaking bold-faced liar, but he was on TV looking for his kids, right? He had already killed them and threw them in the oil bins, but he pretended and he was on TV. These people aren't even pretending. I'm sure the father misses her very much. I hear he's a wonderful man. He is just extremely introverted and maybe he has no ability to be savvy in front of a camera. I get it. Well, then go to Pastor Ferguson, sir, and say, I need help. I know you don't want law enforcement in your life, but that ship sailed. Your life has changed, and now you will have law enforcement in your life for the rest of your life until you start advocating for your child. That's just the way it is. Sherry Ballard has been actively looking for her grown daughter, Crystal Rogers, for 9 years. We have TV shows like John Walsh, who actively looked for his son, Adam, for decades and decades. These parents are not actively looking. So the only reason I'm doing this, I'm not trying to embarrass her or whatever. I don't care about her. I honestly don't. I could give two ding-dongs what this woman does. But what I do know is that if we don't share it and create pressure on the parents, because they're the parents, they're the ones who have to know. Like a citizen told me today that Leon County was searching a lake. I don't know why they were searching a lake, but a lake they were searching. Great. Write it off the list. Check the box. They're searching a lake. They're not going to tell us, they're not going to tell Margie or Pastor Ferguson because we're not family. We need the family to step up and search for their child. That's all. So I asked, just share it. Make her famous. Clearly, that's what she wants.
I went off on her because you don't do that. You cannot, any type of medicine for depression, anxiety, any type of psychiatric medicine, it all says, please go see your doctor before stopping taking this medicine. There's a whole science behind it. I can explain it to you if you want, but the levels got to be a certain way in the bloodstream. And so you take it at the same time every day to keep the same levels. And so if you stop taking it, the levels are just going to decrease and decrease and decrease. You impending or tying up this process. Why would you do it? Why would you tie up the process? Why would you make it any longer than it has to be? This is a very time sensitive issue. So that didn't sit right with me. But they glazed over it. And I had did multiple things. When you ask me what I think happened, that is a very good question. What would be Brooklyn's intent to get back at me? I feel as though she hates me, and that's not my problem. She's upset, I feel as though, because when I turned 18, I didn't need her and she couldn't control me. And I think that's the thing. She knows that she cannot control me anymore. When I turned 18, I moved out of Tallahassee and I never went back. But she's calling me trying to come to my house and move into my house and tell me what to do in my house. And I told her, we're not doing that, baby. We're not doing that. You're not going to tell me what to do in my house. And I think that not having that control, because she has patterns of a person with narcissistic personality disorder. So not having that control just drives her crazy. And so I feel as though she did everything to work against me to make sure that I couldn't get to the point that I'm at today. She went as far as to calling me and telling me, let me paint this picture. It's Saturday. This is a long time ago. This is when Lori's about 8. We're up here. It's Saturday. They're having a fall festival at their school or whatever. And, I'm just pulling up. Phone rings. She's calling. This is, again, before everything had unlocked in my brain. But this specific incident kind of got the ball rolling. So we're talking on the phone. I pull up and she, out the woodworks, is like, well, I have some upsetting news to tell you. Well, why wouldn't you have led with that? But whatever. And so she explains to me, the first time that I applied, okay, this is relevant. The first time that I applied to the master's program at my school, I did not get in. I put in my application too late. I mean, it was on time, but it was like right at the deadline. And so yeah, I didn't get in. Cool, that's fine. So she calls me, she tells me that the reason that I didn't get in is because she called the school and told them not to let me in. You see how many levels of weird that is? That's weird. That's mad weird. Because first of all, you didn't call nobody up there because they don't answer the phone. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and I can't think about this at the time, but this is me running it back. Number two, you don't go there. They don't have to communicate with you. Number three, why? What is the intention behind that? Like, why would you play like that? Because you know that this is my dream. This is my whole life's work. This is my baby. Medicine is my baby. The art, the sacred practice of medicine is my baby. That is my gift. And instead of, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, it's I called them and told them not to let you in. Why do you feel like you need that much control? Why do you feel like you have that much control? Like there isn't a whole admissions committee. As it turns out, that didn't happen. But that I remembered my spirit just being crushed. Like it felt like somebody kicked me in my stomach, because why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you want that response? Why would you want that type of response? That's weird. So some time later, I did get into the program, the master's program, and I had really limited my talking to her, because like ever since then that was too weird for me, right? So I'm very limited on my conversation. So we get on the phone one day and I haven't answered 4 of her phone calls. So I'm like, let me answer this one. So she's like, something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving school. And she's like, oh, you got into the program, right? And I said, yeah. And this lady out of her mouth says, oh, well, why didn't you tell me? I said, because the last time I told you something, you told me that you called the school and told them not to let me in. So why would I tell you my moves? Like, she was offended. Like, and then she had the nerve to be offended and want to get off the phone with me. Like, why you don't congratulate me? You don't mean me no well. Pay some tuition. Like, you don't mean well for me.
Here's the point where she keeps asking her mother for tuition money.
You don't mean well for my child. If you would go out of your way to emotionally harm your only child, I'm an only child. It's just me.
She is not an only child. So I'm nosy. And I found an old obituary where she has a brother. She's not an only child.
And then from that point, it was just different things that start. When I went to graduate school, my brain changed. And so the way that I think about things, I've always been analytical, but now the way that I think about things is like really, really, really intense. Like, it's very in-depth, it's very thorough. And so when I really went to thinking about it, some things had unlocked in my mind. And I can remember some very horrific things happening to me at 4 and 5 years old. I have, like, I can remember. And I can remember these things happening in her house. And I can remember her being aware of these things. But it's like, there's denial. It's denial, right? Because you don't want to believe that. You don't want to believe that about your mother. And so one day, it's one of the few times that we're talking, and I'm like, hey, I just kind of remembered this from, my childhood. Do you, not even with her being there, but I like really walked her through it. And she sat there and told me, no, I had no idea about this. And so then when I told her, no, I remember you being there. I remember you seeing this happen with your own eyes. Well, you must be mistaken. This is textbook gaslighting. You can't make this up. So you, again, before I stopped speaking to her, you don't want me to go to graduate school. You were very aware of things that were happening to me in my childhood. I brought them to you, and then you told me that this did not happen. As I got older, I found out that other people were aware of this. So now you can't lie no more because other people are aware of this. And so they're like, well, why don't you report her? Why don't you report? Because at the time I'm 27. I'm 27. What are we gonna do? Like, there's nothing to investigate. Like, this is the only thing I could do going forward is limit my interaction with her. And so she's been cut off for quite some years now. She is dead to me. I have already grieved her loss. I do not feel anything towards her. I think she wants me to hate her, but I don't. I pray for her. I do, because and that is that's a testimony to God's love, right? Because she did all this shit to me. She's did stuff to other family members. Like I said, she sent somebody to jail. She sent somebody to jail behind something that they didn't do. She's probably involved in this. And as I'm praying for her, it's like, dang, God still loves her. Like, I can't understand it. Like, I can't understand God in that level. Like, I'm not there yet. Like, maybe I'll get it, but I can't get it, because you have chosen to be an awful person, and she hates God, and God knows that she hates God. So, and that's between them two. But I don't feel anything towards her. I pay her dust. I don't even speak her name. She's dead to me. And I think that because she couldn't get to me no other way, now you do it using the child. Because I found out that my biological mother and the dad would be buddy kikiing on the phone, dropping the child back and forth. But they both knew that this wasn't supposed to be happening. So now it's the story is that she left from her dad's house, but did she? Y'all don't know. She could have left from her Gigi's house. Her Gigi's house that she spent more time at than she could have left from her dad's house with the influence of her Gigi. Because Lori's a child. Children are very easy to manipulate. And Lori she's not anymore, but she used to be a very trusting person. So yeah, based off of the things that I have physically witnessed this lady do, I feel like she needs to be investigated. And I said that to TPD a long time ago. I feel like she needs to be investigated. The same way you running down on my 70-year-old mother-in-law, I want you to run down on her house. The same way you got U.S. Marshals following folk around, I want y'all to do that over there. But not now. I wanted y'all to do that 8 months ago. So, and there's so much more to it. Like, there's so much more to it. But the narrative that I just dropped her off and I'm not in the picture and this and that and the third, like, I raised her. She is the child that you see before you now because I raised her. And, they're saying she was very devastated about getting a bad grade. I don't put pressure on her. I've taught her that there's not a direct association between your grades and your character. But she feels like, well, my mom's a straight A student, so I have to be a straight A student. And she don't. I'm not a straight A student. I'm not a straight A student. I was, and then I got to grad school, and that went out the window. So she does, and she has very similar characteristics and personality traits towards me because she's been around me for a decade and a half. So yes, it's important to her to be good at school by her own choice because that's the behavior that's modeled to her. Yes, she is very articulate because that's the behavior that's modeled to her. Like you can't sit here and think that this child became the person that she became because of the year that she spent with her daddy. Stop it. So I hope that was the emotion that all these newscasters and all that. I hope that this is the emotion that y'all were looking for. I hope that I said it to your liking. I hope that I wasn't overly analytical. I hope that I wasn't mysterious or didn't answer the question or avoiding. She did. She spent an entire year with her dad. She spent an entire year with her dad and then just up and left. No. Like I am distraught. I am disgusted. I am flabbergasted. I'm heartbroken. I think that's the thing. Like, I'm heartbroken. That is my little girl. You cannot cognitively put the feeling together of scrolling through Facebook, minding your business and seeing your face on a missing poster, because that face, this is my face. She has my face. So if she's lost, I'm lost. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss of energy. I'm at a loss of appetite. I'm at a loss of caring about a whole lot of stuff. I don't care about how y'all feel about me. I don't care about my presentation online. And I've already said, and I'll say it again, I'm not fixing to get on the internet and cry. Like, I don't, your opinion, y'all's opinion be so irrelevant. Oh, well, the mom should have this, the mom should have that, the mom should have this, the mom should have that. Pay some tuition. Pay some tuition. Thank you. It's awful. It is the worst. This is the worst feeling that I have ever felt in my life. There is not a worse feeling that I can even imagine to you. I have never felt worse in my life. Because not only is there something going on with my biological child, my child, the child that I grew inside of my body, that I carried around high school for 9 months, that I had and then went to take AP exams and brought with me everywhere. My child that I taught her ABCs and how to wipe her booty, my child is gone. This is not in the book. This is not in the handbook. On top of that, at the same time that I'm processing this, because this could take a lifetime, right? This could take a lifetime process. My spiritual baby, my gift that I have labored and labored and labored for. Hours upon hours upon hours. I promise you I have spent more than 10,000 hours. I promise you. I have worked my whole entire life for these two letters.
Did you all hear it? Did you all hear it? This is when my head explodes. Her whole life is for 2 letters, not for this child. For 2 letters. What kind of doctor is she going to be? Please, dear Lord. I hope some medical board sees this bull. What? I'm going to go back just a second. You got to hear it.
I don't care about how y'all feel about me. I don't care about my presentation online. And I've already said, and I'll say it again, I'm not fixing to get on the internet and cry. Like, I don't, your opinion, y'all's opinion be so irrelevant. Oh, well, the mom should have this, the mom should have that, the mom should have this, the mom. My child that I taught her ABCs and how to wipe her booty, my child.
Here we go. Listen here.
This is not in the book. This is not in the handbook. On top of that, at the same time that I'm processing this, because this could take a lifetime, right? This could take a lifetime process. My spiritual baby, my gift that I have labored and labored and labored for. Hours upon hours upon hours. I promise you I have spent more than 10,000 hours. I promise you. I have worked my whole entire life for these 2 letters. I got in the chair. I learned the stuff. You know, I got doctors telling me all the time, man, you're going to be really good. Like, yeah, you're a superstar. Like, and that could all be gone. My child and my life's work. How do you want me to feel? What do y'all want me to do? What do you want me to do? Because, baby, Lori's, oh my God. Lori's favorite.
Her spiritual gift is medicine. And that is what she's talking about. And yes, she is in medical college because I found it.
Favorite thing to tell people when she was in school up here. She said, my mom's a doctor. I said, baby, please stop telling people that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Because when you are expecting an actual physician, please don't call. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. I am strong and I am resilient, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be strong. I want to hold my baby and I want to read a book. I got to process the thought of never hugging my child again. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's not fun. That's not fun. That's not my idea of a good time. I got to sit here and listen and read everybody's commentary on, oh, the mom this, oh, the mom that, oh, the mom this, oh, the mom that. Like, I'll be the bad guy in the story. I'll be the villain. I don't care about that. I don't care about, and that's the thing. That's what we're not understanding. And I think that what Nancy Grace did was continuously redirect people to the point of none of this is relevant. We just want to know where she's at. And I've been saying the same thing the whole time. Where is Lori Paige? For those of you that think that I have her, I promise you I don't. I promise you I would not put myself through this. I do not hate myself. To ponder the fact that, because now I'm a mom, right? And being a mom, I understand love. I could not process love the way that I understand it with my own child. I couldn't process it before that. I didn't even think I was capable of love. And in that process, kind of like realizing, like, damn, my own mother doesn't even feel that about me. Like, well, what's wrong with me? The answer to that is nothing. It's nothing. How people treat you is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Exactly. If I had her, what crime? That was not even a crime. I'm her legal guardian. I wish I had. I do. I wish I had her. I wish that I would. Because if I would have slept with her in the car, y'all would have called DCF saying that I'm unfit and da 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 da. Based off of we're all 2 paychecks away from being homeless. Like let's just really appreciate that. And people are like, most people are supportive. Most people are extremely supportive, and I appreciate that. I know people are praying because this is not something I can do myself, right? The person that I have presented to you right now, this is somebody that is very close with God, that has been prayed over, that is anointed, that is gifted, that is just really trying to do the best she can. And I feel like I can do everything that I can do, but I'm one person. I feel like the Tallahassee Police Department did not handle it well. Thank you. I feel like the Tallahassee Police Department didn't handle it well. Because other agencies that I've had to call, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And we're at the better part of 10 months, and now y'all are just now. You wasn't trying to find her. Not like you wasn't trying to find her. You treated me like a freaking criminal. You won't work with me. Now there's a new detective. There's a new detective on the case. I've only had one conversation with her, and you know, I'm glad there's a new detective, because that old one, like, what are you doing? What are you detecting? I called her because I found out that something was going on, and I called her, and she was like, "Oh, I'm not on the case anymore." You don't think you wanted to tell me that? But why aren't you on the case? I mean, it's fine. I don't want you on the case. Obviously, obviously, you can't find her, so we don't want you. Let's have somebody else do it. And the only way to get it done how I would want it done is to do it myself. But I'm one person.
And not here.
I'm one person with a lot going on. This situation with Lori would be a whole different situation if I had the things that I need. There's been so much going on in my own life. Well, why didn't you go down and get there? Because my car is in the freaking shop. Hyundai has my car more than I have my car. I'll never have my dang on car. Hyundai done had my car for 7 weeks. And then when they give me a loaner, they say, "Oh, you can't drive it out of town or out of the state." You're hindering my plans. And ask me why I don't have my car. Because the turbo went out at 50,000 miles. So now, like, my movement's being restricted. I gotta go back and forth with y'all. And the people at Hyundai do not understand. Like, the people at work do not understand. I don't just broadcast, you know what I'm saying? I don't walk around with it on a t-shirt because I don't really want to talk about it. And let's normalize not wanting to talk about our traumatic experiences with people that we don't want to talk about them with. Let's just normalize that. But yeah, like, people at Hyundai don't know what's happening. The people that come with the bullshit at work don't know what's happening. And so now, if I blow my top, then I did too much. I cannot believe, like, I can't believe I gave you one job and resources to do it. And when I asked him, and this is why I don't talk to CPD, this is why I don't talk to, well, her daddy blocked me. Because I asked him, well, what, right when it was fresh, I said, well, what are you doing in efforts to find her? And this man said to me out of his mouth, well, I'm just chilling, waiting for her to come home. How's that going for you? I wish I wish I could chill. I wish I could chill. I wish that this didn't run rent free in my mind all the time. I wish that every time my phone rung, I didn't get a spike of anxiety telling me that they telling me they found a body. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. And I talk my shit about him, but I am sure he don't show his emotions, but I know he's tore up. I know he's tore up. That's his only little girl as well. And I feel like he don't want to talk to me about it because he had her with Brooklyn, and that's the reason that all of this is going down, because you didn't listen to me. That's why you didn't want me to talk to her, because she's gonna tell me. And I understand needing help. I understand if you need help. You just started being a parent a year ago. Like, I get it. That's why I gave you resources. I gave you resources. But if you don't use them and you let things like your pride and your disdain for me get in the way, this is ego. Is the reason why people lose their life. And one of the reasons why I feel like I can kind of be real strong through this is because I watched somebody very, very, very close to me lose a child. And as a baby, he was stillborn at 39 weeks, 39 out of 40. All we had to do was pull him out. And she lost her only son because of somebody's ego. Like, when is enough gonna be enough? Like, when are we? It don't sit right. It don't sit right in your soul. Exactly. Like, why wouldn't you want her to talk to her mom? Hi, Zoo. I was just talking about you and our baby and losing children due to other people's arrogance and ego. Like, that's crazy. Like, I just mentioned it and now she's here. And I watched her be okay. As okay as possible. This was years ago. And I watched her get up and go get in the sunshine and just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. When it was hard, keep pushing, you keep pushing, you keep pushing. She didn't make no excuses. She didn't blame nobody. She just keep pushing, keep pushing. And I watched her do that. It'll be 7 years next month. I have watched somebody very close to me who has lost a child continue to be strong for 7 years. And that gives me strength, unfortunately. And it's not the same, but the fact, like, if she can do it, I think I can do it. Because most of the time, I don't think I can do it. I'm like, I can't do this. But she has a positive attitude. She smiles. And so, some days she still grieves, but she's okay. But how many babies have to die because of somebody's ego? How many more children do we have to lose? Don't answer that. That's rhetorical. That is rhetorical.
She's done. So that's her last thing. And then, wait, I'll let you list just for the entertainment.
I'm going back to work.
Going back to work. I'm going back to work.
Julia Roberts, what is the hardest drug?
She's going back to work. So to give a little brief synopsis, Lori Paige, Lori Paige. I don't know her middle name. She was 12 years old. She turned 12 last April 2023. She was last seen in the 1200 block of Continental Court, which is a area of townhomes, small flats, quadruplexes, duplexes. She was reported missing on June 3rd by her father. He worked night shift at Jefferson County Correctional Institute, which is about 50 minutes away. Reportedly, that was his routine. You can't just get off night shift and go to second shift or first shift. You have to have seniority. So he'd been working there for a couple years and she was gone. He did report her missing. It has been, according to my source, quite cooperative verbally, giving whatever he needed, paperwork, whatever, talking to police, being interviewed by police, all very well and good. Not any problem there. My problem, and I think all of our problem, who are trying to take this case and we're like trudging it through quicksand, is pressure to have the family advocate for their child. Either two things. She either hurt herself, which we pray to God she didn't hurt herself. She's either was picked up when she ran away and she's being trafficked or held, harbored, so to speak, or the family knows where she's at. I think only one can be the last one, family knowing where she's at, which the mother implies in that long diatribe. That her grandmother might know where she is, or someone might know where she is. The only way that helps the situation is pressure. Pressure has to be from the media and from the citizens of Leon County. The third one, if she hurt herself, she will eventually be found. They did look through the lake today. They had county divers go in and they were there all day. The lake is right behind where her townhome would have been at San Luis Park. It's spelled Sanluis. San Luis. There's a Spanish mission behind the park, and it's a tourist attraction, educational facility. The father was, I'm sure beside himself. By all appearances, loved her very much, but he had to work. It's hard when you're a single dad. And she obviously didn't want to go with her mother. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. She obviously did not want to go with her mother back to Tennessee. The mother is in a HBCU, which, if you're not in the United States, is historically Black college. It's in Nashville. It's a medical college is how they describe it. Not as a university. They do produce medical physicians. She is 30 now. She says she got pregnant when she was at Leon High, which is a local school that is very prestigious here. Leon makes accommodations for people with children or with babies. So that was done for her. All being said, where's Lori Paige? So the only person I know of for the last 8 months who has been working to find Lori Paige, there's two people, and that's Pastor Rudy Ferguson and Margie Summers, who's a paraprofessional. She helps with teaching English language studies to the students. That Lori was a 6th grader at Griffin Middle School. Rudy Ferguson has been on the phone with getting help from missing children to get billboards. So that's my next job. Tomorrow is to call Lamar and find out what needs to be done to get billboards up in the area. I think part of the billboard is just to keep awareness up for Lori Paige. It's also in my case, I just think the pressure needs to be put on the family that they need to come out and advocate for their own child. Videos like her mother was doing, which she doesn't use her real name. I know her real name. She doesn't use her real name. I don't know why she doesn't, but she doesn't. I'll check with law enforcement before I release her real name. I just don't know. All I know is the first detective was very passionate about the case. They did put a more experienced detective on the case. There's a team of 14 working this case in the violent crimes at Tallahassee Police. They have been working the case because I don't know what I don't know. I could assume and did that they weren't doing much to help the case, but they have been. They have done grid searches. They have gone door to door. They have gone to the businesses. They have. And I was very, as I say, verklempt when I showed up at 8:00 to our point at AutoZone on Ocala Road to start walking the streets looking for anybody who might have seen Lori Paige. And I was so happy law enforcement came. We were all just kind of emotional, like, oh, thank you. And we don't know. It's like the Adelson case. Even while the Adelson case is going on, just because we didn't know what they were searching for behind the scenes doesn't mean they were searching behind the scenes, right? So we know they're searching behind the scenes. We know someone called EquiSearch. The private detective that was on with Nancy Grace last week offered assistance to the family, but he needs to speak to the family directly. I don't know if the family has accepted his assistance, but we're going to try and find out. If the family has not accepted this private investigator's assistance, then I'm going to talk to law enforcement and start releasing names. Because they need to step up and look for their own child. I'm happy to look for their child. Just no one will tell us anything because we're not the parent. I've selected some other neighborhoods, not me, but under suggestion because we were looking at the GIS map. I'm a property appraiser. So I was just kind of like, where could you walk to in one night? How far could a 12-year-old walk? Where would stores be? We were just kind of like masterminding. So we picked out a couple other neighborhoods. So we're going to hit that in the next couple weeks. But in the meantime, if you don't want to search this one, because I completely understand if you don't, there is another video 5 days ago. It was recorded called Where is Lori Paige? LORIPAIGE. It also has Margie Summers on it. She goes by Margaret on Facebook. It was shared on Facebook Live to my Patty's Playhouse page and also to Pastor Rudy Ferguson. I'm going to keep doing this like once a week. I'm going to just keep beating the doors down and sharing her little story. I'm going to pick up more flyers that a local printer printed for us. And any event I go to, I'm going to start handing out pages and ask people to look for Lori Paige. That's all I can do. That's all I know to do. If anyone else has any ideas, EquiSearch has been contacted, but I think family and law enforcement have to do something. I just don't know what they have to do. I don't know where it is. I really don't know why she's not here. I do know that one friend, she had one close friend, and she moved away at the end of the school year. I just don't know. I don't know, but it really is. She's not my child, and I'm exhausted. It's exhausting, right? It's exhausting. It's all exhausting. Like, how can you not look for your kid? Like, how do you go to school every day? How do you eat? How do you go to work? People have offered money for a search. So it's not like money could not be derived for a search so that you don't have to go to work. But you wouldn't be able to go to school because you'd be looking for your children. I just don't understand it. I just don't. I might contact Carl. I have his cell phone number. I might contact him just to ask him for what can we do. We may be all we're doing is going out, grabbing some law enforcement and walking the doors. I don't know what we can do. I just don't know. Legally, I don't know what we can do. You know what I mean? Her friend moved away. But I'm sure police have looked at that avenue It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's so exhausting. Like when I realized today, because I am extremely nosy. So I will find where you live and I will see if you're still living there. He is not living there. And I'm sure law enforcement knows he's not living there. And it was just a small rental. And they could have raised it. His lease could have been up. There could be a lot of reasons why he doesn't live there. I'm not judging him not living there. I just feel for the child, knowing when she goes back, she's not going back, right? She's not going back. God. Imagine. I mean, we all joked when we were young that if we ever ran away, our parents would move and we come back like they were gone. Like that was a joke. But this is real. I mean, I didn't want, you know what? I haven't left my mother's voicemail name on my phone and she passed away. Like, I know that. Like, I was upset when we had to give up my parents' old phone number and we're adults. Do we know she didn't want to stay with her mom? Yeah, because she didn't like her. If you watch the video, Robin, I'm very sorry you came in late, but if you watch it, you'll get it. You'll get it. It's really easy to get. It's just a mess, man. I could ask someone, we only have 2 photos. That's it. We have no other photos. We have the missing child photo. And we have one other photo. We have no other photos of this child. None. We have no photos. 2. That's it. 2 photos. She's at school, ma'am. She's at school, Joy. Yes, have a great Valentine's Day, everybody. My poor children. And the last 4 days, I've called them, well, longer than that. How long is it? 7 days, 8 days. I've been like, look, I need to know where you are. They're in their 30s. Where are you? Are you okay? Just can't handle it. Just cannot handle it. Yep. Well, remember Denise Williams' case? Mike Williams here in town. She got mad because her mother was looking for her. Yeah, unfortunately, Robin, you're going to have to watch it because it's a mess. It's a mess, dear. It's just a mess. It does look like her school photo. It does. I wouldn't even trust that woman to take care of a cat, right? I have people, like, no lie, living in Tallahassee. There's this woman whose cat's missing, Oscar. She asks for posts for Oscar all the time. All the time. Oscar's gone. I don't want to tell her that. Maybe you all could tell her that. We don't put pet posts up because so many scammers are out there. But she really needs to find Oscar. I mean, she is desperate to find a cat. And this woman is desperate to find her child. I mean, desperate is in action. Who cares if you're studying a book and your head is like somewhere else? You have to go out and look. You have to actually physically go look for your child. So thank you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Right. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Love to you all. Thank you so much for following along and helping me. Please share Where is Lori Paige video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.